Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy.
Alright, I'm going to run a preview of this. I've got 2 lightning strikes in there already. I'm going to work through the third one with you. Here we go. I'm going to tell you step by step what I did here. So I'm going to create an adjustment layer. So I created an adjustment layer. I applied the lens flare effect to it. There it is right there. And there's your lens flare. And you can get the lens flare by right clicking on it, going to effects, and then going to generate. Go to effects, generate. Old school lens flare sitting right there. I have some more sophisticated lens flares, but I'm not really going to use them here. This will work just fine. Now what I did for this particular thing is I hand tracked it over, which means I physically moved the position of the lens flare along I just hand tracked it. I used her hand as a reference point and just moved it along frame by frame. Pretty easy, straightforward stuff. All you have to do is find out try and figure out where you're trying to generate that origin point, and you're good to go. This last point's a little bit sloppy, so let me fix it. Move it forward a little bit, and there you go. So anyway, here we go. Have the lens flare in. Alright, now we're going to track the lightning. Now you're going to have to apply solid by right-clicking in a blank area in your timeline, and then you locate new, and then you go to solid, and it doesn't matter really what color it is. I usually like to use white. So you go right-click, effects, generate, and then get to advanced lightning. Now you apply advanced lightning to your solid. Please keep in mind you cannot use lightning unless it's on a solid layer. Don't apply lightning to video because it won't work. Then I adjust the origin point. Then I adjust the distance. The origin point is just what it sounds like. That's where the lightning begins. The distance, the direction is where it's going. Then you're going to adjust your lightning type by changing it to strike, excuse me. Change it to strike. It just works a lot better for this type of effect. Now you need to turn on all your animation key points, turn on all your stopwatches, and then track the origin point forward by using the lens flare and Haley's hand as a reference point. Now you're going to go ahead and trim the layer like you did before. Just trim it because you don't need that much of it. And you're going to track the origin point all the way through consistently. So I've already done that. I'm going to turn the layer on, and here we go. And as you can see, the lightning moves with her hand. Whoa, 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 a little bit of a mistake. I've got to Bring that a little bit tighter in. Get it right underneath the lens flare. And then I'm going to increase the lens flare a little bit later to hide that, you know. Just a little better. That works a little better. Yeah, that definitely works a little bit better. Boom and boom. Boom and boom. What most people forget, this is a light source, and there's going to be blowback from that light source onto the subject. So there's going to be light spilling off onto the subject here. So it's a highly bright light source, and what you want to do is you're going to create a mask layer and artificially brighten it up to simulate light coming off of this energy pulse. Simulate light coming off of the lightning. I'm going to click on the main layer. I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate that layer, and I'm going to trim the layer up. Boom. Trim it up here. Boom. There we go. Alright, move that layer out of the way. Move it up, and then trim the layer up. Okay, I've got a copy of the main video layer above the other layer. Listen to me, boy. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, boy. Now you want to mask on top of the duplicate layer, like so. Don't do this on your main layer. Do it on the layer that you duplicated. It doesn't have to be super accurate, so just draw it out quickly as best you can. Don't draw it completely around the character, because you're probably wondering, why don't you go up there? In the real world, light does not wrap around a 3D object in that way. Whichever area that you're facing and the source hits first, that's where it's going to be the brightest. There's absolutely no reason to have light unnaturally wrapping around the subject. Now that you have your mask, you're going to right click on that layer, go to effects. Well, before you do that, hit MM to expose your mask controls. Then you turn on all your stopwatches for your mask control. Come back over to the front end, scroll through, and adjust your mask layer. You can add points if you need to, make adjustments. I'm pulling this around and down a little bit. You can add points as you need them to reshape the mask. Just the point is to just get it to kind of follow the character. You're animating the mask in a very rough manner. And again, it doesn't need to be super accurate. Now, once you have your mask in place, as best you can, animate through it. Just check it to make sure that it looks halfway decent. Make sure your mask layer is highlighted. Right click in your effects control. Go to color control, color correction, excuse me. Go to color correction and click on bright and contrast. Brightness and contrast. Crank up your brightness. Again, you're creating an artificial brightness a lot. Crank it up. You can see that it's sort of tracking with it, which again is not super accurate, but it doesn't have to be. So you click on the layer again and you hit MM, the letter M on your keyboard, double M. You want to feather the mask until about to this setting of about, oh, I don't know, 199, something like that. Really want to feather it out, give it almost a halo look. And the most important thing, you want the mask expansion in the negative territory, so it pulls the mask in the body, in towards the body, so it only feathers the very edge of the subject, letting the light kind of bleed naturally. You're not trying to look for something that's super bright here. You just want a little more brightness to indicate that a light source is being used or is being pumped up. Now just make your adjustments as you need them. Expand the mask, like I'm gonna have to put a little less feather on this and bring the mask expansion up a little so that you can actually see it happening there. There you go. That looks a little better. Okay, now let's try and run through this and see what we got. There's a little bit too much haloing on the side, but again, if it's only going to be on screen for a few moments, nobody's going to be able to track that. So just get it on and off screen as quickly as possible. First rule of visual effects: get it the hell up and get it the hell off. Okay, so there you have your light burst, which is realistic. That is what would really occur if this was happening in the real world. That's the reason why this is important, and that's one of the things that most people starting out miss. Okay, here comes the autosave. That's fantastic. And again, we have a fairly decent first pass at this effect. Okay, we're gonna pick this up again in a minute. I'll see you on the other side.
Let's go. If they yes where I'm at, tell them I'm right here. I'm standing beside a giant that resides no fear. Oh no, I never ride so low.
So if you thought that video was cool, why not give us a like, a share, a follow, and subscribe to this channel on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy.